Today I'm bringing to you the main ideas I found in Start With Why by Sinek. Hello and welcome. On this channel I bring to you book summaries on the best books in the field of creativity, as well as books about creative people. In addition, I try and find ideas to help you be more creative. This channel is primarily for the individual who is creative or is looking for ways to be more creative in your own life. If this sounds like you, I hope you will subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post new videos. On to today's video. Start with Why: How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action, 2009, by Sinek. Mr. Sinek, he's a marketing expert, a motivational speaker. He's been on the TED Talks. I believe his talk is actually the second most viewed TED Talk of all time. He's the author of 4 books, including Start With Why. This book, it has a heavy emphasis on companies and organizations. And since this channel is focused on you, the creative individual, my book summary will glean the main points I found relevant to you. The first main idea in Start With Why is start with the end in mind. Mr. Sinek uses the example of 2 car manufacturers, one in America and one in Japan. In America, they had trouble trying to fit the doors into the frames of the cars, so at the end of the assembly line, they would give some of their workers some rubber mallets and actually pound the doors to make them fit better into the frames. When this company went to Japan and they saw that there was no employees at the end of the line with rubber mallets, they said, how come you don't have that? And the Japanese looked at him and said, we take care of that problem at the beginning in the design of the car. And that, that's one example that Simon uses for his point about start with the end in mind, basically your why. Number 2 deals with manipulation versus inspiration. And he basically says, most companies don't have a why, and thus they end up using manipulative tactics to sell to customers. Some of them include dropping the price, running promotions, sales funnels, limited time offers, and rebates. Mr. Sinek says that they do work, these manipulative tactics, but they're short-lived. I mean, they don't evoke, any trust in the companies. In fact, they evoke skepticism, and they don't create any loyal customers. And in much of the remainder of the book, he talks more about inspirational ways to attract customers or followers, or whatever you are trying to achieve. The third idea he calls the golden circle, and I drew a little diagram here. I'm not that artistic, as you can see, but he puts why in the middle, in the center of the target, and then how, which is basically your methods of running a business or doing something creative, and the what being the end product or service. And the why, of course, being the purpose. And he says that most people can say what they do and sometimes how they do it, but rarely why they do what they do. And he says a clear why will give you basically disciplined actions, which is the how, and that will lead to consistent results, which is the what, or your end product or service. The fourth idea he talks about is basically being part of a tribe. I mean, this isn't a new concept. Seth Godin has a whole book on tribes, but it's a common idea, but he stresses it. Basically, it's our strong desire to be around other people who are like us and share our beliefs. When our why is clear, those who share our beliefs will be drawn to our why and may take part in bringing it to life. The fifth idea is trust, which will emerge when we see people who are driven by reasons that go beyond self-serving. We trust those with whom we are able to perceive common values, basically our tribe. And when we are selective about doing business, only with those who believe in our why, trust emerges. He gives the example of what he calls the Celery Test. And he basically says, if you have 3 or 4 friends or co-workers who you are trying to get ideas from, let's say about what's the best product to get at the grocery store, and they may not know that you're trying to eat healthy. So one of them might say, chocolate. No, chocolate's really good. Some might say soda or chips. Another person might say celery or fruits and vegetables. And knowing your why, that you're trying to eat more healthy, the answer would become more obvious. The celery, the fruits, the vegetables. So you could eliminate all the other options. So basically, this example points out a few things. That's what's good for your competitors. They may go for the chocolate, and that's fine. But it's not necessarily good for you. And by filtering everything through your why, in this case, eating more healthily, you can save so much time and money and energy and stay true to your cause. The final idea I felt was relevant for my audience is called the new competition. And as just mentioned, a clearly expressed why helps separate you from the rest of the competition. When a person feels the need to constantly compete and differentiate, it becomes a constant challenge of adding features and benefits. And you basically fall into the trap of, doing sales funnels or, cutting your prices more or, basically looking around and competing with everybody else. But when you have a clear sense of your own why, we can generally ignore the competitors and not worry about the differentiation, because we simply are different. And we don't need to convince anyone about it because everybody already knows. Basically being somewhat idiosyncratic or unique in your why, in what you're trying to do. It narrows down a lot of things. When you compete with others, nobody wants to help. But when you compete with yourself, people take more of a liking to you. And as Sinek points out, when you start with why and just communicate from the inside out, you'll build a group of followers that trust you. Something that Kevin Kelly calls true fans, in which 1,000 of them can make your business last a lifetime. I hope you've enjoyed today's book summary. I'm new at this. I hope you got something out of it. And please hit the like button and subscribe if you did. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.